I came here for the first time in 1980.
40 years ago in China, foreigners could not pay with renminbi.
Yes, well, you could pay, but you couldn't have renminbi. Where the hell did you get renminbi? You know, we only get FEC on a worldwide scale. China is one of the countries with the lowest amount of foreigners in terms of population.
Yeah. I read a blog about you, and you were one of the few foreigners to be part of the planning committee for the Olympic Games that happened in Beijing.
Yes, there were many projects. So, of course, the most famous one was the bird's nest.
Oh.
That kept me very busy. Yes, I think basically it was a success. It was very controversial at times.
Beijing Olympic Games that was hosted by China left a big legacy in China.
Yes, sure. I think we must say thank you to the Olympics. I think that many times the Beijing government did a very poor presentation of what they were doing. So I had to redo the presentation to the outside world about the Olympics. Chinese are pretty good engineers, and I think especially when you look at the railways, they've done a fantastic job. So it has completely changed the environment.
So at that time, the ordinary Chinese person couldn't just go to the shop and buy anything.
No.
You need a coupon from the government.
Yes.
But thank you so much for coming on my YouTube channel to share your experiences here. Actually, a friend sent me your article, and he was like, Kwesi, you need to find this man and talk to. He has been one of the longest foreigner to live in China. Can you give us a brief introduction of yourself, who you are?
I'm Gilbert, I'm from Belgium. I came here for the first time in 1980. Never had the idea to stay so long time because, you know, that time was really tough to be in China because there were no bars, there was nothing, there were no shops. It was bare land. Things have naturally changed enormously in the past 40 years. So I came here to open an office for a Belgian company. And like I said, I never thought I would stay so long time, but then I got this sticker on my forehead that says, the Chinaman. So I said, I want to go somewhere else. No, you stay in China. So, okay, anyway, I tried to escape. I escaped basically first to Hong Kong and then later to Bangkok, where I was in charge of 4 countries, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Burma. Later I ended up in Brazil, one of my favorite countries, because I speak Portuguese fluently. I've been many years in Brazil. And then I was in Madrid, and then woof, they took me back to Beijing in 94, 95. They dragged me back. And since then I haven't left it. I was in Shanghai for several years, 95 to 99, to simplify things. And then later I came back to Beijing around December 99. And since December 99, I'm here. You know.
Wow.
My house is actually from here like 10-15 minutes walk. It's in we are in Worker Stadium North Road, and my home is in Worker Stadium West Road.
So you came to China first in 1980.
1980, yes.
There is a picture I want to show you. Wait a moment. There is a picture I want to show you. I want you to tell me about this picture. I saw it on your WeChat, and I want you to tell me about this picture. When was this picture taken?
Oh gosh, I don't remember it. It's many years ago. I was for a meeting in Renmin-Dachritang in the Great Hall of the People. It was one of those polluted days, and I came out and I saw this haze over the Forbidden City, and I said, stop it, I want to make a picture. And then when you read the subtitle, it refers to the lady who sat under the dome. And then, of course, she was boycotted by the government, her things were all taken away, but I had taken my picture with the subtitle. So that's my, it's my signature, because I was very much involved in, like 20 years ago, in things of environmental issues. I wrote a book about that. It was published in 2012 called Toxic Capitalism, which is actually a very detailed study of environmental. So here I am. I'm already retired, I think 7 years or something like that. but I'm still very, very busy. Like I just came back from Qingdao, where I had to join a huge seminar event from the government, and I was like 800 people, and I was interviewed so many times. It was one after the other. I was even interviewed by Iraq TV.
Iraq TV?
I said, okay, Iraq TV, welcome, you know, and then many other. Last one was CGTN. Very, very professional as always. I haven't seen it yet, it's not yet out, but there are many, many other videos circulating right now on the internet with clips that I'm talking to reporters and saying funny things as usual.
Wow, it's such an interesting
so
journey.
I'm very busy, so while I am officially retired, I don't do really business anymore. I do things that I like to do. So I'm working with some big Chinese concerns, a lot to do with education. So I'm also involved with very big schools. I meet a lot of students that come, like a couple of weeks ago, professors from Oxford University, and then Russian delegation, Belarusian delegation. A little bit suspicious now politically, but I don't mind. And so I'm also with the Rotary Club in Beijing, also keeps me busy. Then I have my own little club, which is called the All China Hands Monthly Lunch. I do it in a restaurant about 500 meters further down the road here. It's Morel's restaurant, it's a Belgian restaurant, and it's organized for foreigners who are here at least 10 years with China.
Okay.
So I just sent out the invitations this morning to all my members. We are like about 80 people in the group.
The club.
And so we never know how many people can turn up because it's Friday lunch, people are busy, you know. So usually it's between like 25, 35 people that are coming, all kinds of nationalities. Big fun, and people love it. I'm doing it nearly 12 years now, and people really appreciate. I don't have anything from it. There is no membership fee, zero, but I have a lot in return of friendship.
That's amazing.
You know, people really say, "Oh, Gilbert, thank you for organizing this. You know, we really appreciate." And then it's like old wives coming together. They chat.
I have some specific questions I want to ask you. Yeah? I read a blog about you, and you were one of the few foreigners to be part of the planning committee for the Olympic Games that happened in Beijing.
Yes, that's
Can you tell us
right.
about your role you played in that committee?
It's a very interesting and strange story. I've been on TV, CCTV, a couple of times, and because of that, I met the top people from the government in 2002. In January or something like that, and the guy told me, Lao Fan, like they called me in Chinese. They said, we have a problem. I said, yeah, what problem? Okay, we have the Olympics in 2008. Okay, what's the problem? Well, we have to build all the stadiums, but we have no budget, we have no money. Can you help us to get the stuff started?
Wow.
Can you find the money, you know? Can you raise money and things like that? And launch all the tenders, and that was basically the request. And I said to the guy, anything else today? He said, yes, think about the post-Olympic operation of the stadium. So yes, that was the start, and I'm a very stubborn Flemish guy, so I banged on all the doors I could find. I went to all the embassies, American embassy, Canadian embassy, whatever you can think about, you know, the Germans and the Australians and everything. And I said to the people, please come to Beijing, participate in the Olympic infrastructure projects. And I launched them basically as a build, operate, transfer type of approach. We call it actually the private, in the UK they call it private financing initiative or something like that. Yeah, so that is basically it. So it seemed like mission impossible because basically investors don't want to invest in sports stadia because it's normally a money losing one. So I had to adapt the whole situation. Of course, it was not only me doing it, you know, other people were involved. But I was the one to say, okay, we have to do it in 2 steps. We cannot do it in 1 step like the government wanted. So we went first through a pre-qualification round where we managed basically to get 180 companies to register.
Wow.
And then in the second phase, I did like marriage counseling to put the people together to form a consortium to then handle the projects. So there were many projects. So, of course, the most famous one was the bird's nest. That kept me very busy because there were many complications with that project. I selected basically the design of the swimming center. We also had the other projects like the athletes village and this and that. There were totally like 7 projects. But what kept me most busy was the swimming center because of the design selection. And I selected the design from an Australian company. It's a great design, and I think everybody was very happy. We had a team of people analyzing, the types of designs we got. And it was so difficult to choose the number 2 because the number 1 was so great. But the bird's nest, that was a very complicated story. I actually stopped the whole negotiation between the city and the architect because the city had made big mistakes in the contract with the architect. So the architect walked away and went back to Switzerland, and he said to Beijing, FUCKU, you will never build the bird's nest because we cannot agree on the contractual clauses. So bye. So then I had to salvage the whole project. So I went to Switzerland, had a face-to-face meeting with the architect. He's a super nice guy, very famous guy. Is Demeron is his name, and I explained to him the whole situation in Beijing, and he said, okay, I agree to come back.
Wow.
And I agreed to renegotiate the contract, which we did like a couple of weeks later. So I went back with my big boss to Switzerland. I renegotiated the contract there, and so I was appointed as negotiation director for the Chinese side.
Whoa!
So,
negotiating director.
Yeah, so if you know the Chinese, how difficult they are to negotiate with, they are masters of negotiations, but I learned from them. And I think as a Flemish guy, I'm even more stubborn and more badass than the Chinese. So I said, okay, they said to me, you're worse than us, so you do it, and you handle the negotiation.
So did you feel very accomplished after the successful host of the Olympic Games in China?
Yes, I think basically it was a success. It was very controversial at times. I think that many times the Beijing government did a very poor presentation of what they were doing. So I had to redo the presentation to the outside world about the Olympics, about the investments and everything, to say it's not like you people think that it is badly done. It was actually very well done. There were many concerns about security, but basically they handled it well. There was, of course, issues that, for example, there were much less people coming to Beijing to assist the games than was planned originally. But overall, I think it was a success. The so-called over-investment of Beijing for the Olympics, I think this was a very wrong criticism, because the city spent like $35 billion. But that was basically to modernize the city. And if you see all the subways today in Beijing, you see the roads, you see everything. That was everything because of the Olympics. So that's the legacy. We have now a modern city with a very good infrastructure. I was worried they would stop building subways after the Olympics, but basically they massively continued. And where we are sitting right now, under us is a new subway line being tested. It's the line number 3. It will open later this year. And if you walk around, you will see there are still some constructions going on a little bit further, where you see that they go to the underground, they're building new stations.
So you are saying that the Beijing Olympic Games that was hosted by China left a big legacy
Yes.
in China.
Yes, sure. I think we must say thank you to the Olympics because, as a matter of fact, that time, I'm talking about the early 2000s, Beijing was running behind Shanghai. Shanghai was developing much better, much faster, becoming a really modern city, while Beijing was always dragging its feet. But then, okay, the Olympics came, and my big boss, who was Wang Qishan, he said to us, I don't want to know if you guys have any problem. We had SARS, this other big disease, and he said, SARS, no SARS, 2008 is the date, and it will not be changed, and you must see that everything goes well, everything is completed. So he was a tough boss, but he did very well. I think he had a very good approach. And so it changed everything in Beijing.
Wow. And I read about the fact that you also helped in the development of Line 3 in Shanghai.
Yeah.
The subway Line 3 in Shanghai.
Yes, well,
and also the Jiamao Tower.
Jiamao Tower.
Jiamao
Yes.
Tower.
Yes, well, that time I was working for a French company called Alstom. And I remember when I arrived in Shanghai, it was in 95. And I had a meeting with the government of the city, and they said to me, "Oh, you're Alstom, right? You like to sell subways?" "Yes, sir." I say, "Well, we like to build the subways, but the government in Beijing does not allow us to do any subways." This is something very few people know about. In those years, 95, something 96, there was a new law that came out from the central government that prohibited all constructions of subways in China.
Really?
Yes. So, I was discussing with Shanghai government, and even my company was telling me, "Gilbert, you're crazy. What are you discussing subways? Because the law says there cannot be a project." I said, wait. So I did the whole negotiation with the central government, and basically we managed to cancel the law. Of course, we didn't tell the competition. So there was a tender of the subway in Shanghai, and our big adversaries, the Germans, they said, "Stupid Gilbert, he's turning around about his subway line. Doesn't he know there is law number 60, that there is no subway construction?" And then the French Prime Minister came to Shanghai, visited me in my office.
Really?
Yes, I was like, wow, everybody, my big boss in Beijing, very upset. "Why is Jospin visiting you in Shanghai? I'm the boss. I'm in Beijing. He should come and visit me." And I said to my boss, "Well, you can call Jospin and cancel the visit." No, we cannot do this. So Jospin came to my office, and the first thing he did was kick me out of my office. He said, "I need to talk with your CEO because I don't know what the hell is going on here." And the same evening, we signed Line 3 plus other lines, plus two joint ventures. And then that was on a Saturday evening. I will never forget. I'm bored. Of course, the atomic bomb burst. And then on Monday, I got a call from the Consul General from Germany who shouted at me in German to say, "What the hell is going on? You guys from Alstom, you are really stupid. I've already cancelled before all your projects. We won all the projects. We will win that one too." And I said, "Well, good luck, because now you're facing a Flemish asshole, And this guy, no way, Jose." So, once, of course, it was publicly available that the law was cancelled, and then we got Line 3 in Shanghai. Then, of course, all the subways started in China, Wuhan, and all the other ones. They were waiting. Boom, they went. So, Jiamao Tower was actually a small contract. I won the contract for the electricity supply.
Okay.
Small contract, something like $30 million. Small.
He said small contract, and he mentioned $30 million.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure I'm sitting here with a millionaire.
Because it was a very complex project because it's like 80 floors or 100 floors. So you cannot pull a cable from downstairs to the last floor. So you need basically a substation in the middle of the building where you go up with electricity and then transform it, and then you can go up again. So, of course, a company Alstom I was representing, they were very good in that. So, but then also I won many other very big contracts, like supercritical boiler.
Can you give us like 5 major projects you've worked on in China that is key to China's growth in infrastructure? 5 or 3 major projects that you can name.
Well, I would say, of course, Line 3 in Shanghai, but also the supercritical boilers for power plants in Shanghai. There were huge boilers. That contract was also more than $200 million, 2 boilers, only the 2 boilers. And it was done by the German branch of our company, Alstom. And so then I did many gas combined cycles and gas generation, gas turbines. Then other projects were basically here, because like I just mentioned, all the Olympic projects, Bird's Nest and all the others. And I've been working very closely with the Beijing government. I also did something very strange. I built the biggest statue of Asia. Yes, and it's a very sad story because the statue is there. It's totally huge. It's in the Olympic forest, and that was also mission impossible because one Belgian artist wanted to donate this structure to the Beijing government for the Olympics, and Beijing got appeals from Japan, from many countries. We want to donate a statue. We want to donate a piece of art, and the government always said no. We don't accept anything. It was like mission impossible. But okay, Gilbert always resourceful, though I changed the whole thing. So I said, it's a gift from the Belgian king. Okay, this we cannot refuse. So we had to change the whole project. That suddenly it was a donation from the Belgian government, from the king. And it wasn't that easy, so a long story short, so the structure is there, the statue is just, I don't have the detail here in my head, but it's dozens of tons of stainless steel. It's very, very special. Unfortunately, the people who built it, then they did not follow up. They didn't pay me for what they should have paid. So I said, okay, get lost. So it's a bit sad because the statue is there. It's forgotten in a certain way. It was signed by then Prince Philip, who is now king of Belgium. He signed it.
Oh.
And I found back the signature of him on the stainless steel, hidden by bushes, which is very sad, of course. But okay, so many projects.
Many projects.
Many projects like that.
Been living here for the past 4 decades. People always criticize China, that China is spending a lot of money on infrastructure, which to the Western world doesn't make sense. Does it make sense to you living here for,
it makes
for,
sense.
for over 40 years?
Actually, it's very good you raise this question because it's something I often discuss with foreigners. They all say, the highways to nowhere and all this high-speed rail, it's all BS. It's not BS. This has been a major investment from the Chinese government. It has completely changed China. It has opened central China, West China. Before was too far away from everything. But now, I went to Sichuan, I went to Xinjiang, I went to many places. You take the high-speed train. Everything is now open. So just try to buy a ticket on those lines, I tell you, because they are usually sold out. So all the wrong criticism, what to say, the train going nowhere, try to buy a ticket,
right.
It's sold out.
It's sold out.
I just went to Qingdao by the high-speed train. It's really fantastic. Speed 305 kilometers per hour. It's fantastic. Why do you take a plane inside China, right? So those don't get delayed. At least when you take a plane, you always have the scare that you're going to get a plane cancelled or something like that. So the trains is really fantastic, but also highways. I have done thousands of kilometers of highways
Okay.
and with tunnels, no ending. You know, I went to Sichuan and then I was looking. Oh, this tunnel is 3 kilometers long. There's a sign when you enter the tunnel. Oh my God, 3 kilometers. Wow, that's a lot. Next tunnel, 10 kilometers. Holy Ghost. Next one, 5 kilometers. Oh, that's more. Next one, 20 kilometers. You know, like it is unbelievable. So, and I mean, you go in those tunnels. There is no water dripping. Everything is very nice, very well constructed. And then, did you hear about train accidents in China? Oh yes, there were two, with the thousands and thousands of kilometers of high-speed rail, not even to talk about the normal trains. And then you look how many accidents we had in the US. With their bloody, medieval trains that they are running there. I mean, it's very safe. The Chinese are pretty good engineers, and I think especially when you look at the railways, they've done a fantastic job. So it has completely changed the environment. When I went in Sichuan, I was part in shooting 2 big movies. In Sichuan. One is along the Yangtze River, and the other one is a tributary of the Yangtze River. So I went to all these small cities, and I said, Sichuan tour. And then I went there, I said, Holy Ghost, it's even nicer here than in Beijing, really. And I talked with the people, and they said, yes, now we can go everywhere. The Yangtze has risen 150 meters, so we can go by boat to the villages that before were off limits. Now we can manufacture, we can export, we can ship everything from here to Shanghai. Everything is going smoothly. So it has made a very, very big difference.
Then why do you think China get a lot of criticism about its investments?
Well, it depends what investment you talk about. I think investment, okay, the industry, of course, is going through a little bit of a difficult period now. The government doesn't want to talk about it publicly, but it's a matter of fact that, yes, the economy is suffering for the moment. I think they will need a few years to come out of this downturn. It's not that serious, but it's also not negligible. So many people suffer because of it. They have lower income. Even people from the government tell me that they have to lower their salaries. The government said, sorry, we cannot pay you so much. You get a lower salary. So yes, but overall, it's always the same thing. I think in China. When I wrote my book in 2012, I predicted that electric cars would become a big thing in China, and that they would at least have 1 million vehicles. People say, oh, Gilbert, you're dreaming, this is never going to happen. Now, should I say something, right? So, are they doing it right? Of course, not always. It's a bloodbath because there are too many electric vehicle constructors, so they are killing each other. There is a price war going up, and as you know now, the EU and all the US is putting barriers, custom duties on the electric vehicles. They say, well, the Chinese government has been subsidizing the industry, which in part is true, but it's not the complete truth. Because, the industry has been extremely competitive, and Chinese can be very hard workers. In Europe, when it is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody looks at the watch and they go boom, they go home, right? Here, 10 o'clock in the evening, if they need to be in the office, they're still in the office, and they work Saturday, they work Sunday. They can be very hard workers. So this is why the industry goes so fast. It's not always done in a nice thing because it's bloodbath. They criticize that the Chinese industry is killing the foreigners, but I would say it's overall it's the Chinese killing the other Chinese in the industry. So there is an intensive competition, and the government has admitted that there are too many constructors of electric vehicles. They have to reduce it, and the good ones will survive.
The good ones will survive.
So, see BYD, for example, is very successful. I've been actually in a taxi of BYD in Brussels once. I said,
Oh.
that looks familiar, you know. And I asked the driver, I said, what about? She said, yeah, good. You know, that's many years ago already. So BYD is a good example. They have been doing pretty good job. And there are a couple of others. I'm not a specialist in the car industry, but of course you see many bad electric vehicles who are going up in flames on the highway because the battery is not good. So the government is slowly trying to clean up a little bit the industry. So yeah, it's a little bit like we say the far west, but then it will be the far east then.
Right. So you are retired now, and now when I watch your WeChat channel, I see you do a lot of bar hopping, restaurant hopping, going from one restaurant to another. What really inspired you to start shooting videos and putting on WeChat channel?
Oh,
I think you are the hottest influencer. He's the hottest influencer right now in Beijing. All the beautiful bars that you want to have a beer, chilled beer, he's the man to talk to.
Well, it's kind of a very funny story how it acted. You know, my favorite restaurant is 500 meters down the road. It's a Belgian restaurant. And the lady there who is Chinese. She does a lot of Douyin or TikTok of videos. And she's always busy doing her videos. I said, damn it, you know, I should try it once too. So it was just like, as a joke, I said, I'm going to try this shit also, you know. So I started, and then it ballooned. And then said, well, you people like it, you know. So now I'm already pretty high. I'm getting more followers. Okay, I don't have 1 million followers, for example, but it's kind of interesting because it has happened several times. I go into a restaurant. The restaurant doesn't recognize me, but some of the customers recognize me. They say, oh, you're the guy from the video. I like it, you know, I like your video. Oh, okay. So while I have maybe like 3,500 followers,
that's good.
For me, that's not so much. I think it's at least double because many people, as a matter of fact, they do follow me, watch my videos, but they don't officially follow me. But you also have to know that I'm on 3 different platforms. And the other 2 platforms, I don't pay attention, and they are very popular. I'm on Xiaohongshu. I'm also on
WeChat channel.
WeChat channel is my number 1, and then there's the other one.
Blibli.
No, Show. Kuaishou. So it's Kuaishou, Xiaohongshu. Number 1 is WeChat channels. So this is where I really follow, you know, who is giving me up, etc. But I say I'm independent, so I refuse any payment. You know, people say, "How much money do you make?" I say, "I lose money because I have to pay, you know, all the people, you know, I go to eat. You know, it's not free of charge." So, yeah, but it's fun. I like to eat. Belgian people like to eat. And I'm very easygoing, so I eat basically everything. Yeah, so even went to an African restaurant. That was kind of a funny story because the first time I went there, I said, you know, I went with my friend and we both said, oh, that looks so shitty here. You know, oh, we don't set the food here. So I put a comment somewhere that, you know, that restaurant was really shitty. So the guy contacted me from the restaurant. He said, oh, I'm very sorry for your bad experience, but now we have cleaned up and I invite you to come by and try our restaurant. We promise you it will not be bad. Right. So we went there and it was really fantastic. You know, we had the fish there. We had to wait like 1 hour for the fish to be prepared, but it was really worth the wait. Fish was really fantastic. The food was great. Price was very reasonable. It's in Soho, Salitun here.
Is it the tribe?
Yeah.
The tribe.
Yeah. It's so called the only African restaurant in Beijing. So I wanted to try it because, see, you know, I want to try this one. So I go for whatever food. I go to Xinjiang food, spicy food, salty food, not sweet because I have a little bit diabetes, so I'm very careful what I eat. But it's big fun, you know. It's big fun.
I'm a fan of you. I watch your videos all the time, and yeah, it's just a proud moment for me to be here to have this conversation. tap into your knowledge and your experience living in China for over 40 years. When I was not even born at that time. I was not even conceived, you know. And I mean, take us back to when you got to Beijing in 1980. How was Beijing?
It's for many Chinese. They cannot understand how their city was 40 years ago because they look today. They say, "Oh, come on, you know, you're kidding." But there were very, very few hotels for foreigners. I was very lucky. I got a room in the Beijing hotel. It was that time. It was supposed to be the #1 hotel for foreigners. But there we had no fridge in the room. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, and they would walk into your room 10 times a day. You know.
Who was walking into your room?
The staff. You know. The
Just to see.
Yeah. Oh,
just,
hot water. Oh, we bring you a new towel. Oh, we changed this. Oh, we changed that. You know. We'll like talk, boom. So of course, we learned how to do it. We were just naked in our room, and they learned their lesson. They had to knock because if we do not disturb outside, they should not come in because you know. So we did crazy things that time. There was basically only one shop we could go to. It was a friendship store. Doesn't exist anymore. That was the only shop where you could buy something interesting. Chinese couldn't buy there. You needed to pay with FEC. You know, the former foreign exchange currency, you know, only for foreigner, FEC.
Really?
We had renminbi and we had FEC.
This is my first time hearing this.
Yes.
So like 40 years ago, foreigners couldn't pay with Chinese renminbi?
Yeah, we were not supposed to have renminbi. And yeah.
I'm so surprised. I've never heard this story. That
FEC,
40 years ago in China, foreigners could not pay with renminbi?
Yes. Well, you could pay, but you couldn't have renminbi. Where the hell did you get renminbi? You know, we only get FEC. We would get paid in FEC. We would, you know, a friendship store, you could only pay in FEC. You could not pay in renminbi.
So the shop was called Friendship Shop?
A friendship store. It doesn't exist anymore. It was pretty big. And this is where you also could buy a bicycle.
Okay.
So my Chinese friends would ask me if I could buy a bicycle for them because they couldn't buy a bicycle because everything was with coupons. You know, if they wanted to buy a sewing machine, they needed a coupon from the government. They wanted to buy a bicycle, they needed a coupon from the government.
So at that time, the ordinary Chinese person couldn't just go to the shop and buy anything.
No.
You need a coupon from the government.
Yes.
Because at that time, I think it was strictly like communist country.
It was very communist. Yeah. So I mean, I helped many people and also buy foreign cigarettes. And my company was
a lot of confessing going on today.
and then my company would say, Gilbert, why do you buy so many cigarettes? I say, next time you come to Beijing, if you want that everything runs smoothly, you know, you better allow me to buy the cigarettes because this is, you know, what I do to make all the Chinese happy with me, and then they run and they help me for everything. No foreign cigarettes, no Chinese help, you know.
No foreign currency, no foreign cigarettes, no Chinese help.
Yeah. So I went there. I also bought my bicycle in the friendship store. It was kind of funny because that time was kind of crazy. As soon as you bought your bicycle, outside of the Beijing friendship store, there was a repair station because you couldn't use their bike because it didn't work. So you bought a brand new bike. The first thing you had to do is to go to the repair station to get it fixed.
Oh, get it fixed.
Yeah. So that was kind of really very funny.
Wow, I'm just casting my mind like 40 years ago in Beijing, and now when I turn around. 40 years ago, I don't know where I was. Maybe I was in the other world.
So there was a black market. We had that time, you know, the silk store, you know, that today is not like it was before. The silk store, this is where foreigners went to shop and things like that. And close to that was actually also the former American embassy there. And in the alleys everywhere, you had people, change money. So you gave your FEC for one UN FEC, you got like 2 or 3 renminbi.
Okay.
So it was a good deal. So, you know, if you knew how to do this, you change your FEC and then you would get like 2-3 times the value back in renminbi.
So when you look back, China 44 years ago, when you got to China and now, are you proud of the Chinese people and how far they've come as a country?
Yes, of course. Also, I think for many Chinese, hundreds of millions of Chinese, life has changed. I don't say there are no more poor people in China, but there are much less poor people, like 500 million people less poor. So of course you can still go to some countryside and look where the people are very tight with their money. But overall the country has changed dramatically. So yes, there have been many changes. You just see, you look around. I've been to so many cities. I've been to Shandong many times. I went to Yantai. I went to Chifu, whatever. And that, when you go inland, you go to the other smaller cities, and then you see that things are not bad at all there.
Right.
So yes, China has changed a lot. You can see, you go to the smaller cities, you can even find the KFC. Okay, I would never set foot in the KFC myself, but okay, for the Chinese, oh my God, KFC is the big luxury, Yeah, so yes, of course China has problems, and I am the first one to talk about the problems. And sometimes even people tell me, oh my gosh, why did the Chinese not yet kick you out of China? Because you really
you have a balance, like you talk about the positive and the negative too.
Yes, I also talk about the negative. And the Chinese know that when I talk about something negative, it's based on facts. It's not to criticize, but it's actually, I say, well, I want you to improve the situation in China. So I'm telling you what's wrong. Do something about it, So, of course, I'm very careful what I say, how I say it. But for example, when I was in Qingdao just 3 days ago, I also said, well, there are fewer foreigners coming to China because, situation is not as good as before. And we should all work together to improve the situation so that, we can have much more exchanges, much more foreigners coming back and things like that. So yes, you have to acknowledge the problems, but you cannot just talk about the negative sides. Like I said, you look at the highways, the trains, many other things, the internet. Okay, internet is a lot of checking and blockage of many foreign websites, but okay, we all get around that anyway. But I was just a couple of days ago, because I have several websites, and with my website guy, we had to download the backup of all my websites. I had to download 9 gigabytes to my computer. It took 40 minutes. Do that in Belgium, you can go to bed and wake up in the morning and look, is it still downloading? Yes.
I've never been to Belgium, I've never been to Europe, but you are speaking from your experience as an European living in China.
No, but honestly, sometimes the speed you see of the internet in other countries, Korea is one of the fastest countries in terms of internet. But in China, I have 3 different optical fiber cables in my office, because my home is also my office. So first floor in my office we have 2 different connections, fiber optic, and then my office upstairs has another one. So it works very well, it's very fast. So of course when you are here you use WeChat, you use mobile. Okay, is it always perfect? Of course not.
No.
But okay.
There's still room for improvement.
There's room for improvement. So sometimes, yes, I tell them, this is wrong, can you do something about it? I say, well, there's too much discrimination still against foreigners.
Right.
So they don't like to listen to that, but I say it very openly. And
Like today, I wanted to try and make a video about the robot taxis. I went to the location, I had the app, and the app was seeking for my Chinese ID. I don't have a Chinese ID. So some of these platforms, when they are being built, I think they should also consider that foreigners want to experience this kind of life, because I couldn't key in my passport information and I couldn't enjoy that experience. So I feel like there's some of the things that can be improved.
Yes.
There should be improvement in the relationship between foreigners and Chinese in order to create the environment for foreigners to stay here.
I have a green card, Chinese green card. So I have now a new Chinese green card with a number that looks a little bit like a Chinese
It's ID.
ID number. But just like 3 weeks ago, I tried to buy something online and on Amazon China, and it's imported. So I cannot buy something imported. I couldn't buy anything from Amazon because it was imported. So I asked my Chinese friends who were sitting there, I said, you buy it for me. And she bought a Chinese ID, blah, blah, blah,
It
blah.
worked.
And then it came and it was made in China, but it came from America. So I couldn't buy it. So, it's totally stupid. Why me as a green card holder, I'm supposed to be equal to a Chinese citizen? Why? There's many, many examples like that. So, there are not so many foreigners in China. Actually, I have done studies about that. And when you look at the percentage of foreigners in China, on a worldwide scale, China is one of the countries with the lowest amount of foreigners in terms of population.
Yeah. I was in Thailand just 2 weeks ago, and I was shocked by the number of foreigners I saw in Thailand, as compared to like cities like I was in Bangkok, and the number of foreigners I saw on the street of Bangkok, I was blown away. It's a big difference. Okay, I've taken about 45 minutes of your time.
Okay.
What is your last message to the world? What should people know about China? What is your last message to the world? Send a message of hope to people watching this video.
I would say, you can listen to criticism about China, but the most important is take the airplane, come and have a look here, and then it might change your mind.
You heard that? Book that flight, come to China. Don't listen to us, just come here, experience a life, and probably you're going to change your mind.
Yes.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Okay.
I appreciate the time. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you so much.